everyone, and welcome. Welcome to Pink Lady Presents, and it's going to be a day that you're going to remember because we're going to go to art school today. So with my partner, Chaplain Dove, and I, we welcome you to Lives Well Lived. And today's life that's well lived is my lovely friend here, Elaine Verchick.
Hi.
Hello and welcome to us.
Thank you for having me.
Elaine, you moved to LA in what, 1966, I think?
1966, we moved because my husband wanted to leave New York, and we moved. I moved reluctantly, and I've been here ever since.
Now, you
Are you
started.
glad you came?
I am very glad.
You don't
I
miss the snow and the sleet and the ice.
Don't miss it.
No.
Don't miss it at all.
You were doing interior design for a while.
I went to Woodbury University here for interior design, and I did interior design for 20 years.
20 years. It's not a little time.
And
20 years.
yes, it's a long time. And
Was
Af-
it commercial or homes
it was
or
residential.
what? Residential.
And I decided that I felt that I'm in the wrong, direction. I didn't enjoy it anymore.
Uh-huh.
So I decided to go back for my master's in psychology
At 48 years
at
young.
48,
Very
and
good.
I figured you're never too young to change,
No, you're not.
never too old to change careers. So I am now a practicing psychotherapist
Oh,
in
wow.
Beverly Hills.
And where do you practice? Woodland Hills?
Beverly Hills.
Beverly Hills, okay.
In Beverly Hills, yes, and I love it. I just love it.
And what is the name of your practice?
Elaine Verchick, marriage family therapist
There you go. There you
in
go.
Beverly Hills, yes.
Now, a marriage therapist, so it's all about relationships and.
It's about relationships, families,
Okay.
individuals. I work with that whole group. I do relationship issues, major depression, eating disorders, anxiety, all of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So in our case,
Yeah.
the problem we have is I try to do too much for her and she tries to do too much for me. And if we get into a disagreement, it's because who didn't do enough and who did too much.
Oh,
Right.
that's a good one.
Yes, I know. That's why I
That
mentioned it to you publicly with our.
That is a good
Yes.
one.
I mean, it's
like
really.
that.
It's
or,
really true.
Or I'll say to him, he'll say, well, why did you do it? Well, honey, I did it because your arm was hurting you, so I did that.
Uh-huh.
Well, yeah, I guess okay, but you don't have to. But wait a minute, I did it. So, hello.
I would not take you on as a couple.
No, you wouldn't.
I love it.
Yes. I
So
would.
now you have children.
I have 2 grown children, 3 grandchildren, and they all live in LA. So
Oh, that's
I'm
a
very
blessing.
lucky,
That's right.
Right.
very fortunate. Yes.
You got to tell her your numbers.
Well, my audience, I think, can remember, but one has changed, everybody. It's 5 children that hasn't changed, 6 grandchildren hasn't changed, thank you, God, and almost 7 great-grandchildren.
Wow.
But you're how young?
75.
See, she's a child, everyone.
Yes.
I'm going to be 87 going into my 88th year,
Wow.
September 3rd.
You're fabulous. I'm September 30th.
Oh, there we go. Now,
Libra.
you a Virgo or no?
Libra.
Libra. See, I'm a
Libra.
Virgo. I'm the
Uh-huh.
beginning there. So, now, here you are at 48, clinical psychology. And then, I mean, you're not happy just doing that. You're going to do other things. So, at 57 years young, you started art classes.
I started art classes. I had this desire to learn how to draw the human figure.
Yeah, it must have been like a really
And
initial feeling,
I just had a desire to be in art. So
and you never did it before.
never did it before.
Unreal.
And I took 3 classes a week. I did not know how to draw. I never had anatomy. And I persevered. I just stuck with it.
And what did your teachers say? I mean, it must have started to come out. I mean, you just
After-
don't have your talent and then it's hidden. You
After
know.
years of doing that, one of my teachers, who was my first phenomenal teacher, Mark Westermo, he decided that I should paint. And I
okay.
did not want to paint.
Why?
Well, it seemed very complicated. It seemed like a lot of, you had to carry around a lot of stuff, clean up, set up, all of that.
Okay.
It seemed just
Too much.
too much.
For what was
But
that?
he handed me supplies.
Oh.
He handed me a cardboard,
Okay.
and I did a painting with his direction on that. And I've been painting and drawing ever since. I still do both because I have to learn what I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
That happens to be a very good attitude.
Yes, because people say to me, "Why are you still taking classes?"
Well,
Because I have to learn.
I was going to say
Yes.
that's it. That's it. I mean, I would never have asked you that because to me, to take a class for anything, to keep the brain active.
Right.
I mean, and just to keep
Just
doing
about
it.
any profession now,
Right.
there's continuing education. You have
Right.
to stay up and learn
Continuing.
what you don't know.
I've been taking classes for the last, in one thing or another, for the last 40 years.
Now, your passion, because I'm looking at the different pictures, and our audience is going to start to see them. First of all, I love your dolls.
Thank you.
Oh my Lord. Are you watching the dolls, everyone? I mean, they're absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you.
And why dolls? Let's get into this now. Why dolls?
Well, I just love detail. I love the somewhat whimsy
Yes.
character
Yes.
of the doll. I love costumes. I have a wardrobe of costumes at home that mostly clowns
I love it.
costumes. And so I just find dolls, paint them. Just love doing that. It makes me happy.
And then you also have a passion for still life. Your still lifes were fabulous.
Thank you, thank you.
I mean, a lot of people say they do still life. I've looked at them, and it's like a picture. It's not really real to me.
Mhm.
Yours are real.
Thank you.
The still life.
Thank you. I go around, how I pick my objects.
Yeah. How do you do that?
I go around to flea markets, junk stores, antique stores, and when something hits me, I buy it. And I use that as my main object in a still life, and I build
Like an
around
example. Like give me an example.
it. Like a teapot, a copper
Oh, I love the
teapot
teapot.
with a porcelain handle or
Right,
something
right.
and I'll find other objects that I feel that are pleasing to the eye,
So
to
what do
my
you do?
eye.
Make a what do you call it? A collage of them?
I make a little scene.
Okay.
I have background fabric sometimes, and I have wood shelving that I add to it, and it's like a scene. I have a three-sided box, and I
okay.
put it in a box, and I have lighting on one side,
Oh, wow.
and that's how I do my painting. And it's a passion. When I paint, I levitate. I levitate, literally.
Wow.
Yes.
And the other thing is that when the technique that you need to be an artist, what are the techniques?
Well,
I mean, not everybody can do it. I couldn't do it.
I think I disagree with that. I think everybody could learn how to paint or draw
Really.
if you persevere and you stick
But you
with
need
it.
patience.
A lot of patience and perseverance. You have
Don't
to go.
have
Now you're not going to be
patience.
doing that one, that's for sure.
I
I'll
know.
tell you.
I
You
know.
really have to go through the
Right.
maze
Right.
in order to get to the end. And so that's what my technique is, basically classical realism and traditional. I'm kind of veering off a little bit now, a little looser, a little maybe more impressionistic,
Okay.
but I just love detail. I will work a painting till I can't work it anymore.
Do you have shows? Do you participate in
I would
craft fairs? Where is your audience?
Well, I don't participate in craft shows. I have participated in some outdoor shows, but I found that it's very tedious and hard work, and so I don't do that.
So
but
you have a studio?
I have a studio
Okay.
at home, in my home. I have my paintings are all up on my walls, at least half of them. I've got a lot stored away because I don't have room.
Right. But how do people, if someone wanted to see some of your work,
They would call me
okay,
and make an appointment to come see my work.
and how would they find you?
They would find me through my website, which is everchick, everchick.com.
And that's Ever Chick.
Chick.
And we'll have that on the screen so
Right.
that they
Thank
can see
you,
it.
thank you. And they can, through my website, they can call me, email me, and I do portraits. And
Well, one thing that you do that I'm saving for last here are your clowns. And to me, those clowns are so real.
thank
They
you.
are absolutely, I mean, we saw them, we go, oh my Lord, they're fabulous. And from the clowns, you went, I mean, you're not going to believe this, everyone. She went to clown school.
I went to
Tell us about that.
I went to clown school about 10 years ago. I just figured I grew up going to Barnum and Bailey Circus in Madison Square Garden with my brother who took me every year.
Right.
And I guess it imprinted
Okay.
the clowns, and so I decided to go to clown school to become a caring clown, to entertain children in hospitals and
And tell
it-
everyone your
resident-
name, Elaine.
My name is Effie.
Effie
the
the
clown.
clown.
Yes, and so I've entertained in residential facilities, and I've done charity work as a clown, and it's just a passion. It's a passion.
I love
Yeah,
it.
we used to work very closely with the Masons and Shriners clowns, and we would go to
Oh,
children's
yes.
hospitals
Yes.
in Boston and here in Los Angeles.
Right.
And it's just amazing the amount of dedication,
Right.
and these kids love it.
Love it.
They,
yes.
they can't get enough.
So clown school was at the University of Wisconsin.
Oh,
in La Crosse, and it was clowns from all over the world that came to teach us. There were 135 students, mostly dentists, nurses,
oh my goodness.
and then there was me. I was the only one that went without I had no persona at the time, but it developed.
Right.
And so
And who chose the persona of Effie?
me.
You did.
Oh,
okay.
yes, I just took everything in for the week, and I saw and I bought some pieces of clothing, and
You put it
There you
together.
I put it together.
I
I put
love
it
it.
together.
What would you say at this stage in your life you've yet to do that you really want to do?
One is my practice, helping people, and the other is painting.
Ladies and gentlemen, art is in the eyes of the beholder. What I see is different than what Dove sees or what you see. But what we all have in common is art is beauty. And your work is beauty in
Thank you.
every single way.
Thank you.
So please check Elaine Verchick out on.
everchick.com.
You can always email pinklady7@earthlink.net and say you want to know where you can reach this fabulous artist, Elaine Verchick.
Or Effie the Clown.
And
Effie the
Effie the Clown, you got it.
Right,
Thank
right.
you so much, Elaine,
You're
for
welcome.
coming and sharing with everybody. I know you're enjoying all the art that you're seeing on our screen. God bless you all. Thank you so
Take
much.
care, everybody.
I'm gonna live till I die. I'm gonna laugh